What's up, guys? Today we're doing predictions for the playoffs. You have about 20 hours. So when you see this video, make sure to get your predictions in. You don't necessarily have to copy my complete format, but I'm going to show you guys how to make your own predictions. And if you guys want to copy my predictions, feel free to. So quick and dirty, it's FaZe, Secret, W7M, Liquid, BDS, VP, Dark Zero, and Sonics. But we're going to get to why we feel this way now for the predictions, okay? For the Montreal Major for 2024. So using this, you can go through all the games, and you can say who wins or loses the game. It changes the seeding, so it's kind of nice. Let's say it changes the seeding of everything. It's kind of nice. All right, so here BDS versus W7M. I've never in the recent past I haven't seen W7M win more than 3 rounds against BDS. Using Liquipedia, you can go through and go to W7M. Let's say in most recent matches played, you can see that they lost a BO3 to BDS, and they lost a BO1 to BDS pretty decisively. So you can go to this and you can scroll down and see when they played them 7-2 there, and then BDS beat them 7-2, 7-3, 7-1. I'm not gonna go through every individual game like that, but I have gone through and kind of glance how I think teams would do. FaZe, I believe that they are the best Brazilian team currently. So boom. Sonics versus VP. I think Sonics is the best NA team. They're going to beat VP, who's, I believe, the 3rd best EU team. Secret, which I believe is 1 step behind of BDS, is going to beat Elevate. Liquid, G2. G2's been playing mid. Dark Zero versus Falcons. Falcons have struggled against a couple mid-end teams, I believe. So I would go to Liquipedia. Let's go to phase 1. And Falcons lost a round to Alpha. They did thoroughly trounce the Chiefs, but all I did was, they beat Alpha pretty decisively, 7-1. They did lose a map, but then they beat them 7-0. So Falcons has potential, and they really trounced Chiefs. So I do think that Falcons may be a sleeper team to look out for. But this early in the tournament, I don't think that they're going to beat Dark Zero. Scars versus Chiefs. Chiefs lost very decisively to the Falcons. I do feel like if this game was Scars versus Falcons, I'd have a little bit more. But I think Scars is probably going to beat the Chiefs because, I did see Chiefs struggle with beating CAG somewhat. So I think on the seeding that Scars is an overall better team than CAG. And D+ versus Black Dragons, I think the best Korean team is probably going to beat Black Dragons because they struggled so much against FearX, and I feel like if they just had one step up, I don't think that Black Dragons would have won that game. So there you go. And then change the seeding for this: BDS versus D+, FaZe versus Scars. Sonics and Dark Zero honestly is a tricky matchup. I'm gonna explain why, because we go to the NA teams, it becomes a little bit more complicated. They did beat DZ in a BO3. So you can go to here. So Sonics versus DZ. DZ lost 2-7. So they lost decisively in a BO1. And then in a BO3, 7-8, 8-7, 8-7. Honestly, it's one of those games that I feel like really could go either way, but I'm leaning on Sonics because I've just seen more positive performances from the Sonics lately over Dark Zero. And then Secret versus Liquid. I don't know if Secret can beat. I'm not sure if Liquid can beat Secret. Secret has been playing kind of cracked recently. They beat VP. They've been pulling rounds off of BDS here and there, but overall, I'm not confident in Liquid's ability to beat Secret at this point in a BO1. Here's Secret. They lost to BDS. Then they beat BDS there. So here we have more Secret games. We have VP, Secret beating 7-4 and then 7-0 against VP. And Secret 7-5, 4-7, 7-8. BDS is barely squeaking out against Team Secret, and I do think that BDS is the team to beat for this event. So I do have them in a high standard in where I'm placing them. W7M over Black Dragons. W7M is probably, you know, really just one step off of FaZe. Personally, I feel like they have probably the best Brazilian player, Volps, on their team. On CGG, you can go through and like type in, let's say, W7M, right? I do think that Volps is probably, this rating is literally insane. They have the best Brazilian player on that team. The rest of their team is, you know, maybe not so much, you know, if whatever. But I feel like that's why they are under FaZe, because FaZe has an overall better roster. Yeah. They have an overall better roster altogether, so I do think that FaZe does, you know, beat W7M, but against Black Dragons, I feel like that's going to be a cakewalk. Space Station over Chiefs. I don't think that Chiefs have the tools necessary to beat them. VP over Falcons. I do feel like this is one of those games that is a little question mark for me, but at the end of things, I mean, I do think that VP is a higher end team that has a little bit more depth, and I do feel like Falcons do have the potential to kind of bottom out a little bit. So let's go to VP. VP is one of those question mark teams for me because, you know, they're better than G2. They've lost a secret decisively. This is one of those question mark games. I've seen that they've beaten DZ. This is really long ago. You don't want to go too far down because it's older information. But if I see them, you know, doing okay against the higher end teams, I tend to rate them higher. Like, they're clearly a better team than G2 currently, but against Secret, they couldn't do much. So it is one of those games for me that I struggle a little bit placing, but I do think that this is going to be a close game. I do think that VP is probably going to win, but I could be wrong on that. And then we have G2 Elevate. I think that G2 is going to win the game there. I think they're going to get their second stride after their first loss. BDS versus Secret. So I have this is a tough call here. And the reason why I think that Secret is going to beat them is not for anything major. Where is it? They did beat them 4-7 in their BO1. But I do see Secret bringing the game close, and they are able to take maps off of them. I think at this point, they are going to win the BO1 because BDS is going to be a little bit more like playing laid back. Personally, I think that they are going to be saving for later on because I do feel like they know they're going to fly through this at this point. So I think that Secret is going to beat BDS here. And then FaZe versus Sonics. I like the Sonics, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to beat FaZe at this situation in a BO1. Liquid over VP. Dark Zero over G2. Space Station and Scars. Honestly, this is one of those tough calls. I can see Scars beating Space Station, but for now, I'm going to, you know, NA Hopium, I'm going to put Space Station winning. D+, W7M for sure. Elevate, Black Dragons. We've seen the Black Dragons struggle really decisively against Black Dragons. There we are. So we've seen them struggle really hard against VRX. I do feel like Elevate is a little bit of a higher team than VRX. I just don't see what they have in the tank for a game like that. They do have Ask and Hornet, and honestly, those two players are really damn good, and they could easily, you know, it's just the rest of the roster. I just don't see how they're going to I know that they're going to bottom out somewhere down here. So, and Falcons versus Chiefs. I mean, unfortunate for Chiefs, but Falcons literally trounced them. I don't think that they win the game there. And then BDS Space Station. BDS is going to win this match. W7M versus Sonics. I do think that W7M is going to come out on top in that match. These are the BO3s now, though. And then you Liquid versus Dark Zero. This is one of those games. If you want NA Hopium, go with Dark Zero, but I'm going to put Liquid up for now. Scars, Falcons. I do think Scars are probably going to win that. VP versus Elevates. I have VP. G2 versus D+. I think G2 because I know what G2 is capable of. So, Sonics versus G2. I do think that Sonics are going to win this match. Space Station versus VP. This is one of those. If you want some NA Hopium, I would click this. But I do think that VP is probably going to end up winning the match at this point. And Dark Zero versus Scars. Dark Zero winning. And then, you know, you can like go through this, and this is your predictions right here. So I have Secret Phase, Liquid, BDS, W7M, VP, Dark Zero, Sonics. And if you want, you can like go through and like really kind of cross-reference, like, okay, so we have Phase versus Scars, right? So you go to Phase, I go to Scars, we go to recent matches played, and we can kind of see like how they did against other teams. If you want more information about how close these matches were, you can go, okay, so Scars actually lost to CAG. So, okay, they lost to CAG, but not by a massive considerable margin. Like, if I see like a 7-1, 7-2 game, then I'm like, okay, they got trounced. But an OT game, you know, they're like fairly close. It does look like CAG kind of edged them out there. And that's how I did it. That's it for today. How do you guys feel like these predictions are? I mean, I didn't put Space Station up there. I'm not trying to be an NA hater like I am North American, but based on where I found Space Station at the given times with the seeding, I just didn't feel like, you know, I don't think they'd beat FaZe. They will beat the Chiefs. I do think they'll beat Scars. BDS. I don't think they're beating BDS. And then you have, you know, Space Station versus VP, and I've seen VP do some crazy stuff. I do think that they are under Secret and BDS considerably. I do think they are touchable, and Space Station could win that game. So that could be one of those games you swap around. But I didn't feel like putting 3 NA teams, knowing full damn well that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, leave a like down below for more. Let me know who you would change in this. I mean, everyone's gonna have their own opinions, and honestly, the predictions are literally almost impossible to get the battle pass. You can try, you literally have to be perfect. So I'm trying for that long shot of like trying to get a perfect score. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but you know, you can use this as information to kind of gauge your guess based off of mine, and you know, change whatever you want. And you know, that's how I went about it. Peace out. Until next time.